Hello there, everyone. Welcome to this live Valo Show where we're going to just go through a little bit of a recap of Microsoft Inspire that has happened over the last couple of days anyway. There's been some really good announcements and information and content that's come out of Microsoft Inspire. So what we thought we'd do is just have a little bit of a recap here, pull out some key takeaways in case you haven't had a chance to sit through all of the sessions. What we've done is just curate a couple of key points and key takeaways of the event so that you guys can stay up to date. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to bring a little bit of a slide deck up and we're going to walk through a few of these now. My name is Daniel Anderson. I'm the product manager and APAC business lead here at Valo, and I'm going to be taking you through a couple of these key points right now. Now, what we're going to do is start with just a little bit of the numbers that were presented throughout the event as well. And as we can see here, obviously with the current state of the world and the pandemic and things like that, there's a real big focus and change and shift into this hybrid way of working, or this hybrid working model. Now, as we can see on the screen here, and this was brought up and presented via, and the information here is from the Work Trend Index annual report that has been put together, and it shows that workers really do want these flexible work options. So we can see there that 73% of workers say they really do want more remote work options. So even post-pandemic, we're obviously going to be seeing that trend continue, I would imagine. Now, also that last figure there around the managers or the C-suite also are expecting this as well. So they're expecting more policies and more work from home procedures that are going to be implemented post-pandemic as well. Now, moving on a little bit here, more around Microsoft 365 in general in numbers. Now, what we can see here is that not only, I know there's been a lot of talk about the increase in Microsoft Teams daily active users, and we can see there 145 million active users there. But the top line there, we can also see that SharePoint still also has around 200 million active users as well. So you can see that not only is Teams highly used as well, but SharePoint is obviously there as well as a very, very highly used part of Microsoft 365. And a couple of points that were brought up during Inspire as well was around the employee experience. So employee experience is obviously a really big topic at the moment, with Microsoft releasing Microsoft Viva and the 4 modules there. And we can see that companies with best-in-class employee experience programs are around about 2.2 times more likely than others to exceed their financial targets. So we can see there that the importance of having really good employee experience also has a direct correlation to an organization's bottom line and profit as well. And on the topic of employees and your talent or your people, then obviously a big goal is to retain those employees. And we can see there that you're going to be 5.1 times or around about more likely to engage and retain your really good talent if you do have an employee experience program or platform that really does meet the need of your organization. Now, one of the big things that came out of, and one of the big talking points around Microsoft Teams through Inspire, was all around the Microsoft Teams collaborative applications, as they're called. Now, as I said, 145 million daily active users, and obviously growing quite significantly. Microsoft tend to go down the path of, or present the Microsoft Teams is where many start their day, and this comment came up throughout the event as well, is the flow of work, or keeping users in their flow of work, so they don't need to switch context to a different application, to a different tab or a window or things like that to get their job done, to find information, to find people that they need to communicate with. We want to try and keep them in their flow of work. Now, with the new hybrid work, as I mentioned before, we're going to need a new, and what was very evident is that we're going to need a new class of experiences that surface across not only Microsoft Teams, but also SharePoint and other areas where users are working. Now, if we're talking about Teams, then that's chats and channels and meetings. And this is where collaborative applications come into play. There's going to be some really big opportunities here for Microsoft partners to build these next generation applications and collaborative applications that allow for this real-time and asynchronous collaboration when you're in meetings or chats, or even the creation of content and business processes. Now, there's a really good blog post that has been written in combination or to go with these Inspire announcements as well. I've popped the link in the slide deck here. I will also post this out after this show has finished as well, if you want to read a little bit more about these collaborative apps. Now, one big collaborative app that was presented throughout Inspire as well was the ability now, or very, very shortly, to be able to bring Dynamics data into Microsoft Teams at no extra cost, right? So again, we're talking here about activating the flow of work, being able to access this data, use this data, share it, collaborate on this data without breaking your flow of work. So it really does help speed up the work and enabling anyone across the organization, as I said, to view or collaborate on this Dynamics 365 data or records. Now, there's no other technology vendor that enables this without the need to pay, I guess, to pay for additional multiple underlying software licenses. So that's a really big plus for anybody that is using Dynamics and Microsoft Teams. It just means that we don't have different platforms or even the need to pay for additional licenses. Now, again, on the topic of employee experience, there was some really big numbers that were presented here around the importance of employee experience. Now, again, hybrid work, people are working a lot more from home. There is, through this work trend index that Microsoft has put together, there's a big, I guess the feedback was that a lot of employees are feeling disconnected and obviously suffering from burnout, because I guess a lot of times at home you're always on, right? So, and another few key points here is that a lot of people are finding or taking too much time to find that information or content or document or anything that they're needing to access quickly, right? So it's taking too much time, and it comes back to a number of disparate or disconnected or disjointed applications where things live, and also finding the right people to help them, whether it's the project team or just people in their functional group or department. Just taking too much time to find all of this information. And a lot of people are feeling stagnant in their skill and career development as well. Now, companies are obviously starting to realize these pain points and really starting to invest in their people, and identifying an employee experience as a really important thing to focus on. Now, with these numbers here, we can see that 60% of people say they're feeling less connected to their team after shifting to remote work as well. And also, over half of the people surveyed or interviewed here are saying that the job demands have increased as well. So it's a really big topic, and that opens up, and what was presented throughout here too was around the gap in employee experience that we're seeing. So in most organizations, the employee experience has become too complicated. So what that a typical scenario here is that organizations are or have purchased over a number of years a number of different applications to fulfill different needs. But what that's meant is this has led to fragmentation and disconnection, and also disconnected applications from where people are actually working. So if Microsoft are presenting that Microsoft Teams is where people are working, and we don't want to break the flow of work, then these disconnected applications actually do that, because users have to then switch between different apps, different tabs, different windows to actually try and find what they're looking for or tasks they need to get done. And that really does cause a loss of productivity and a low adoption rate of these platforms. So this is where Microsoft Viva comes into play, trying to bring everything into Teams, into the flow of work. Now, the other big thing that people were waiting for in Inspire was the pricing model for Viva and the different modules here. So what we can see here is that this was announced. So it will be $4 per user for each module. And these are standalone prices. Okay, now Viva Topics was originally $5, if I remember correctly. That's now dropped down to $4. And as I said, these are standalone prices. They're add-on subscriptions, so there is no need for your E3 or E5 licenses here. So it is available to every 365 customer as well. Now, next up is Microsoft Viva. Okay, now what was announced throughout in Inspire was 21 new integration partners, and also a lot of new tools to extend applications into Viva. So what that means is companies like us and others are now able to have a set of tools that allow us to be able to integrate in with Viva. And what we're looking at Valo at doing, and what we are doing right now, is really extending and completing that Viva story. So being able to add value and extend on the out-of-the-box capabilities that Viva provides, we can really complement that and extend and even give an even better employee experience inside Microsoft Teams and Microsoft 365. So we can participate and integrate and leverage and extend all the different modules here, and all, as I mentioned there, complete that experience for your users. Now, the last thing I want to touch on here that gained a lot of interest was around Windows 365. And this is what Microsoft are saying, the cloud PC. So what this is doing is actually bringing Windows 10 and, when available, Windows 11 to the cloud. And you're going to be able to stream your apps and settings to any single device, whether that be Mac, iOS, Android, Windows. So that's going to mean that you're going to have your PC wherever you are. So whether it is a work device or a personal device, you're going to be able to log in and have your PC in the cloud. And as you can see there, we're going to be able to stream your apps, your settings, all of your content storage and your compute resources from wherever you are. Okay. And a big thing here is that the state of your PC is going to stay the same. So if you have documents open, email, Teams, whatever it is that you've got open, and let's say you're in the office and you come home, or you're on a commute somewhere, you can actually log in to your cloud PC and pick up where you left off, with everything else already open, right exactly where you left off there. So it's going to provide an instant boot experience as well, that enables you to stream all of your personal things and tools directly from the cloud as well. It is. It was announced that this should be available on August the 2nd of this year. So stay tuned to that, and it will be available for any organizations. And there's going to be two options here. So there's going to be Windows 365 Business and Windows 365 Enterprise. And there's going to be a number of different cloud PC configurations that IT admins are going to be able to configure for their users. Now, last up is the Microsoft Inspire Book of News. So this has been put together by Microsoft as well, which goes through all the announcements. There was a lot covered in Inspire through Azure to Microsoft 365 to Teams, and there's a lot of other information that you might be interested in too. So if you do want to have a catch up of all the news, there is a book of news that Microsoft has put together. The link's down there as well. But if you just Google Microsoft Inspire Book of News, that will come up as well. And that will provide all the associated information to all of the announcements there, to detailed blog posts, even to some imagery and some other collateral as well. So there we have it. A quick wrap up of Microsoft Inspire 2021. There was, as I said, there's a lot of stuff that came out, a lot of exciting things that are coming very, very shortly to Microsoft 365. So I hope that brought you some value today. And once again, if you do have any questions or want to hit me up on any of the social channels, then feel free to do so as well. But I hope everybody's weekend goes well, and I'll see you next time.